Listen up, ladies and fellas. If you need a little pep in your step, don't be afraid to use G Fuel. I can 120% say that I've been using it for years now. Absolutely love it. You got just enough caffeine in each serving of G Fuel in order to get your day going. This is not a sponsorship. This is strictly an affiliate, so I don't get paid off anything unless you use my link in the description box and my promo code NARUEX, NARUEX. They've got all types of anime themed G Fuel merchandise and energy tubs, and each serving has around 140 to 150 grams of caffeine in each serving, just enough to get your day going with the extra pep in your step. Best of all with G Fuel is that there's no crash and there's absolutely zero sugar inside of it. And as someone that does try to avoid having too much caffeine and too much sugar, I absolutely love it. Use my promo code NARUEX in order to save a little extra when you purchase G Fuel. Pin, comment, and link in the description box. What if I told you that Boruto, despite all of his power and foresight, may have just made everything worse? That by rushing to find a short-term solution, he may have unleashed even darker timelines than we've ever seen before. Timelines where Eida's consumed, where the Shinju monsters, they might rise unchecked, and where hope collapses under the weight of inevitability. Kashin Koji's latest update through the 10 directions, it is shaking everything. Mamushi is now confirmed on the move. New possibilities, darker ones, they are converging. And at the center of the chaos, it is Boruto. But did he truly make a mistake? Or was this punishment destined from the moment he took fate into his own hands, doing the very thing that Kashin Koji warned him not to do? Join me in today's newest Naruto Explained video where your OBC, your original Boruto chief, breaks down for you why Boruto Uzumaki's meddling of the timeline is less just Eida worrying about Mamushi showing up outside her doorstep, stepping off the Mamushi Lolita Express, with clog rhymes bringing hot tubs with baby oil, and the Anbu Black Ops telling her that the Mamushi client list that Shikamaru and Naruto and Orochimaru were allegedly on doesn't exist because Code tampered with the list. But it's more that Boruto just pulled a Barry Allen and screwed up the timeline in a way where even the reverse flash is taking a moment from ruining Barry's life and asking Boruto, are you sure you're not the villain of the story? Also, if you haven't already, make sure to check out the chapter review, which I will leave linked in the description box. And if you're a fan of Dandadan and the new Kaiji number 8 season, those videos are up on my Anime Explained channel and playlist if you need to learn more about those series. And I'm sure you have questions, and those videos do give you a lot of answers. So let's just start right away with the butterfly effect of Boruto's choice. Let's rewind. Boruto, in a desperate attempt to survive and potentially turn the tide against Jura and the Shinju army, he told Kawaki to remove his limiters early. That singular choice, made in a moment of urgency, it caused a seismic ripple across time itself. We saw it. Kawaki's early power-up, it changed the sequencing of events, and Koji's once stable outlook on the timeline, it's been shredded into uncertainty. Jura now knows that Naruto's alive. It's implied he didn't know that before. The 10 directions isn't just about one timeline, it's a complex web of branching futures. Koji had spent years analyzing all the intersections, pruning through the paths that led to destruction, hoping to funnel reality toward a singular thread where Jura could be defeated. That's why Boruto's learned all these specific jutsu. That's why all these different steps have been taken. But Boruto, the so-called Singularity of Fate, just pulled the thread out from the center. That brings me to Kashin Koji's update and the warning from the future. In chapter 24 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, we saw a chilling result. Koji warned Eida, Mamushi's on the move, but it doesn't just stop there. Koji's also hinting that more is to come. Koji isn't just reacting, he is now alarmed because Mamushi's movement, it wasn't expected at this point in time, not in the stream of fate that Kashin Koji originally mapped. The future, it is accelerating, but it's not in the right direction. Think of it this way, Koji was playing multi-dimensional chess with Jura without Jura even realizing it. Boruto just upended the board. Every calculated variable, every narrow escape route, every window of victory, it has been compromised. Now Koji is seeing darker timelines, one where Eida might be consumed by the very Shinju that craves her divine energy via her having Shibai cells as well as the Senrigan, etc. And this might lead to situations with Jura that Kashin Koji had not foreseen. Boruto's burden as a Singularity of Fate is now coming into play, and he is coming across like a failed Bodhisattva. That's where it gets very haunting. In Buddhist philosophy, a Bodhisattva is someone who delays their own enlightenment to help others in order to help them ascend. But if that Bodhisattva strays from their path, if they misuse their power or let fear guide their hand, they risk a form of karmic punishment. For Boruto, Kashin Koji was shown telling Boruto multiple times, "The things that I see, if you stray too far away, it makes everything I'm planning absolutely useless." That has happened. That is the karmic punishment. Boruto in many ways is fulfilling that Bodhisattva archetype. He is a Singularity of Fate, born to not just save the world, but also guide it. And Boruto is told by Kashin Koji, it is our job to guide the world from the shadows. But what happens when that singularity starts to panic? When he tries to shortcut fate? A character flaw that Boruto had as far back as when he was conceived by Masashi Kishimoto as being not somebody who actively looks for shortcuts, he just knows where they are because he's that smart. Well, the universe, it might be responding in kind in terms of making him suffer. And what if Eida, a being that he is trying to protect, ends up becoming the price? The 10 directions may now be recalibrating in order to focus around a new core wound, which is going to be Eida's destruction, not physically, but potentially symbolically. Her consumption by the Shinju could signal a cosmic punishment, a way to rebalance the timeline that Boruto in his desperation destabilized, because it is taking away one of the singularities of fate, in particular one that has the ability to see the past as well as the present. And that brings me to the other part of this, which is that there's a danger in playing God, which is ironic because Kashin Koji has been playing God, but he too is learning there's a danger to it because he tried to control fate, and fate basically through Boruto as a vehicle taught Koji a lesson, and now Boruto's learning a lesson for being the one that changed fate. Boruto's foresight may be his greatest curse. And trying to outmaneuver destiny, he inadvertently has given rise to unpredictable consequences. Mamushi is now awakening, he's going after Eida. Eida is vulnerable based on how Koji was acting, and Kashin Koji has that dread-filled silence as he's looking at what's happening with 10 directions. The irony? By acting to save Kawaki, Boruto may have doomed the person he was trying to protect, one of his allies in Eida, and this might be the exact trap of 10 directions. Each timeline has its own winding branches, but the more you jump between them, the harder it is to find the right path again. Koji's warning is more than just about Mamushi. It's also about all the unforeseen horrors that are now quietly crawling into the timeline. Horrors that might have stayed buried had Boruto waited. Every new decision that is made in this new timeline that we're now in is making multiple other branches that Koji had not seen. And based on what we know now, Koji can't control when he gets visions for 10 directions. That's what makes him sitting and gathering all this information and forming the plan that he did for the 2 years that he was working to train Boruto. That's what makes it so volatile for what we're in right now. All that planning went out the window. Now we see why Koji was pissed off. Is this a future in flames? Did Boruto just doom the future? Are we now spiraling towards that moment Boruto versus Kawaki happens? It's possible. And the answer, it isn't necessarily the most simple one. In trying to gain control, he may have lost one of the advantages he had, Kashin Koji's certainty. And now timelines, they twist with new dark branches. Some where Eida is consumed, and some where Jura might be evolving unchecked, and some where Boruto himself may end up falling. Koji was trying to avoid that because, as he said, hey, Boruto's still alive. That's the most important thing. But now Koji does not know everything that is going to happen in terms of the variables, because he has to let chips fall and see which of the paths we're going on. This is no longer somebody with a very set playbook. The question now is, can Boruto restore balance before darkness overcomes everything? Or has fate decided that one of the singularities must suffer? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Is Boruto being punished for trying to rush fate? And will Eida's potential destruction become the price for his mistake? Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, clicking on the left to check out more Naruto Explained videos, or click here on the right to check out the playlist for Dawn to Dawn and the playlist for Kaiju number 8 on my Anime Explained channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content.